In fact, I went to the city center a couple of times, and it's empty. When I landed in Changi Airport, I saw more immigration officers than passengers queuing up at the counters to have their passports stamped. So even by the third week of February, we can really see that this COVID-19 epidemic and then later on pandemic, it is having a severe impact on Singaporean society, Singapore's economy in particular. But let me return to this verse. And by the beginning of March, cases begin to rise. And by middle of March, it is the migrant workers that are most severely affected by this contagious disease, coronavirus. And by early April, until today, almost a month now, the majority of cases, there were several days that close to 1,000 cases are reported among migrant workers. Why does this come about, you may ask? Within the community at large, besides the migrant workers, the infections rate is minimal. There are only 30, 40, 50 cases a day. But in the last several weeks, there are several hundred cases among these migrant workers. You may ask, why is that so? Well, the simple answer is that they are the most exposed to this contagion or infectious disease because they live in crowded dormitories. It is impossible for them to put into effect social distancing when you are sharing a room with 12 people in a single room. There's no way you can stay 1 or 2 meters away from your roommate. For me, it is a recipe for disaster, and this has proven true. My brothers and sisters, even as they say prevention is better than cure, perhaps the Singapore government will review how they handle this crisis, especially among migrant workers, at a later date. But let me state several things here. In the understanding of God's teaching in this verse, do not deny justice to a foreigner. Do not pervert the judgment of a foreigner. And for me, it is a shame that action is not taken earlier to avoid overcrowding, to avoid this disease being spread among the migrant workers. And now perhaps more than 10,000 of them are infected. Maybe majority of them will recover. But that is not the point. The point is that justice is denied to these migrant workers. They should have better facility or accommodation facility. I'm not even talking about budget hotel standard or 3 or 4 star hotel standard. I'm talking about clean dormitory room. Perhaps if only limited to 4 people in a room, they can put into effect social distancing. Perhaps there are more bath or showers or washroom. Instead of 20 people sharing just 1 toilet, perhaps the rate of infection will be much less. I'm talking about justice. I'm talking about a wealthy country that is quite capable in providing better quality accommodation so that foreign workers receive justice because they contribute. They build hospitals, they build HDB flats, they build railways, MRT, they build parks, they maintain parks, public parks, golf courses, and the rest. To not deny justice to a migrant worker, lest they cry against you unto the Lord, and it be seen unto thee. God is punishing nations with this COVID-19 crisis. God is bringing nations to their knees. No human authority, no human ruler is so wise to counter an unseen or invisible enemy in this virus called COVID-19. And nations are humbled. Governments are humbled throughout the world because only the Lord is sovereign. And He commands that we should be considerate, we should be just, we should be fair to foreigners, to strangers, to migrant workers, to those that are poor and needy in our midst.